I need your attention now.
Where is life?
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 When we need
Where
it.
is life?
Where 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 is life?
When we need
Where
it.
is life?
Where 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 is life?
When we need
Where
it.
is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life? Where is life?
Yeah, they asked me what would you do if you had to look back on your youth. I would call this my story, but I'm telling you my truth, telling you my past, just an innocent little dude at 5 years old with my dad eating noodles and soup. Too young to understand that we couldn't afford food. Right down the block was this woman, she called my mother, moving from house to house when I wasn't with my father, an only child at the time. I didn't have any brothers, too young to know the difference between intoxicated and sober. Heard a knock on the door and then I heard another.
Hello?
It's the cops. Shit.
Can you open the door?
Looking out the window, I see two police officers wanted to greet them being childish, like I was Glover. Couldn't see her for a while, that's how I learned when I'm older. Now my mom was never a bad person, don't hate. Couldn't control her addiction, it couldn't break. She needed rehab for a while, needed to take a break. And I did this shit, she was in it till I was 8. No matter what happens, I love her, she's always been great. That's my past with the little details was missing in place. Left a couple details missing, but back in retrace. Forgot to mention some bitch out of shit, she fucked up my life. Oh, I think we know who it is.
Where is life?
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 When we need it.
Where is life?
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 When we need it.
Where is life?
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 When we need it.
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life? Where is life?
Yeah. When I had first met her, I thought she was nice. She seemed so innocent cause she was always polite. Thought her and my dad would be together forever. Holding hands to Christmas lights on the 4th of July. But before you cross the street, you should look twice. Always hitting me when I did something she don't like. Whenever I try to explain everything I did, she told me I lied. Taking me to juvie for some food I didn't want to try. And every July, it would be her birthday. So we take some trips to Tennessee and see the family. I don't give a shit about her no more, cause when I was there she always acted like a whore. Her mother and her grandmother always argued, that's why I stayed downstairs. I didn't wanna do shit, cause I didn't wanna always be included with the arguments that happened as a congregation. Damn, looking back, everything I see, it just always was his past. I don't wanna go back and I don't wanna go forward. It's like life, what the fuck are we doing when it's over?
Where is life? 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 Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
When we need
Where
it.
is life?
Where 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 is life?
When we need
Where
it.
is life?
Where 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 is life?
When we need
Where
it.
is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life?
Where is life? Where is life?
Yeah. I don't really freestyle no more in my rhymes, but I feel like it's an exception to the time this time. When it's personal, you have to do it, cause when it comes from the heart, it's never stupid shit. I feel like it's coming right from my heart, I'm speaking from it. Can you hear it bumping? I'm crying to the phone as I'm talking and rhyming. Man, this song got me, it's emotional this timing. I'm not timeless, this ain't the weekend, but every weekend it would be Sundays, beezing. Damn, they gave me PTSD again. I would always think of the time that she would laugh my ass off. Fuck her. She's an asshole. Jody at her dinner, it was weird ass casserole. I don't give a shit about that shit. All I like was the piano. I'm venting about random shit that y'all bitches don't even know. But this was my childhood. I'm rapping about it, so I figured I'ma do it right now. Abusive household, that's what Justina made it. I don't even give a fuck. My dad wasn't there for me. And it wasn't intentional on purpose. He was just trying to do his job. He didn't know what was going on behind closed doors. He was always running 2 stores. My mom, she was always there for me, but Justina was the one who was trying to hide it from me. Man, I wish I could win the lottery and get so much money, pay off the debt that Justina caused the family. Fuck that shit. She had twins, Landry and Preston. They are kids, not me and hers, but my father's. And I feel like every time she takes them, it just gets worse, making up lies to try and make my dad look like a bitch. Man, she just a fucking hypocrite. I take obsession and I take distraction. I've learned not to keep it. I've learned common compassion. It's a strategy in life that I'm trying not to cry as I spit these fucking lines, cause I'm doing it this time. Don't gotta check the watch, just watch the clock, cause you know your time is coming soon. You gonna die one day and you don't know when, but we all gonna live our lives just to live it again. Maybe one day. I think life is a troll. That's what Donald Glover said on. Fuck. The record was cold because of internet. You better listen to that shit. It's got a fucking meaning. It got more potential than my life. It shows me that we're put on this earth just to die. I try to strive with pride, but I cause too much commotion when I have emotions. It's my autism. Nah, I'm not using that as an excuse. It's just running. Man, this ain't funny. The tears are dropping right down my cheeks. I'm trying to spit my shit. I can't even speak. My fucking tone is getting crazy and I'm weak. I love my fucking family. That's what I mean. Just trying to tell you guys, just live a happy life. I don't give a fuck if your stepmom's a bitch dyke. Just take this shit, take it for pleasure. Man, get that ruler. I'm a ruler. Get the measure. I love my life. I don't care what pastimes I had. You gotta learn how to live. You gotta learn to push through things, man. Life is like Mount Everest. You either gonna get to the top or you're not. And if you don't get to the top, even if you get to the top, we're all gonna go back down anyways.
I need your attention now.